Gavin Newsom is thinking of running for the president of the United States. He is the most one of the most hated politicians from the most hated state in the union. Gavin Newsom has now released an ad that says that he is going to try or planning potentially to be a contender. And, you know, Biden's senile and a corpse. Kamala's incredibly unpopular. Hillary, too old, unpopular. There aren't many options for the Democrats, right? The Republicans have DeSantis, seemingly, maybe Trump, probably DeSantis. Gavin Newsom definitely seems to be. Now, the original version of this ad, by the way, and which is good, which is why they had drag queens twerking and then 8-year-olds just making it rain on them. Was the original version of the ad. And they had it in, it was set right on the Universal lot. We're proud of that in California, Universal Studios. And it's just 8, 9-year-olds just making it rain on the drag queens, and the drag queens are just twerking with their G-strings up. And then Gavin Newsom stands in the middle and he goes, "You're going to pay for gas, bitch." And then all the drag queens go, "Yes, Daddy." And then they start whipping him with a leather thing. And then it says, Gavin Newsom, "Hey, America, how about this?" And it's just a question mark. Was the original ad. They ran that in focus groups. Now, people got really testy about that. Gavin Newsom didn't understand why. He said it was a drag queen birthday party. What's the big deal? It was a normal California drag birthday party, and with some leather daddy BDSM climate content, appropriate climate content, where, you know, because Gavin says, listen, the reality of the situation is, you know, and it's like we're saving the planet. And I'm not even kidding. Like, the original slogan that they were testing again, and I'm not, folks. People get so mad at me when I report the news. I barely give opinions on these things. Gavin Newsom's campaign ad, the slogan that they were testing was, "We're going to save the planet for child drag queens." And it was just children in drag. And Gavin Newsom goes, "This is the future." Now, that slogan did horribly when it was tested. So now they have this where he's standing in a yard that's meant to look like, by the way, landscaping on this yard, now that I know, you're looking at around 20 to 30K just on the landscaping around. But he's trying to appeal to people and seem like he's Gavin Newsom, as the great Ray Kump and me have said many times, is an effete wine merchant. What that means is that he has a estate in Northern California where he wanders around in a robe and drinks like Barolo, drinking red wine. He's never been to Los Angeles. He doesn't know what it is because, in his words, Latinos are confusing. He goes, "Not good or bad, but I don't know who's who." This is what he said to his wife. Now, which, by the way, he was married to that Kimberly Guilfoyle Newsom, who's now married to Donald Trump Jr.
That's right.
Because one thing she likes is authentic connections. She's in it for love. Kimberly Guilfoyle Newsom, first wife. And so was he. He wanted that big-titted monster too. So see, he's not. How do you let him off, right? He knew what was going on. So Gavin Newsom now is... what they're doing now in California is, if you have a birthday party for your children, there have to be drag queens there. That is a requirement in California. At least one drag queen at the party. It's a requirement. Let's play. Now, of course, we're kidding around here. I don't think that's a law yet. Keep the kids out of the bars. I've said it before. Gay people should be more vocal on this. It shouldn't only be like right-wing Christian types that say this. It is incredibly inappropriate for any children to be throwing money at a drag queen or a stripper or children stripping themselves. Children should be left alone to figure out who they are. And that's the position of sane people, okay? Except in the state of California, because kids in the state of California are advanced. So if they want to twerk on their birthday, they should be allowed to. There's a lot of kids that go to their parents and say, listen, I want this to be a 70s style bathhouse for my birthday. Can I do bathhouse theme? And the parents have to, and the parents are straight, of course, but they are, they have virtue. So they go, well, and they talk about it. They go, hey, Mike, yeah, we're going to do pizza party, but some of the kids they have gluten and sensitivities. So that's going to be tough. So our son, Mike, wants to do 70s bathhouse theme, which, would mean that all the kids and the parents rent out like a bathhouse and everybody goes in and like simulate the conditions of an orgy, but not have them, but like show people that it's like okay and fun. So they want to do bathhouse and like glory holes, but the cupcakes go through. This is, so this is what I mean. It's like, let the kids figure out who they are. There's zero reason for a kid to really be in a bar. I used to watch my father play music in a bar. My family would bring me in and I'd stand there and watch that ne'er-do-well strum a guitar. And he was very good at it, and he used to play with this guy, Gary, and Gary was on the keyboards, the synth, and my father was on the guitar. And I was like a young kid and I'd go watch him play music instead of raise me. And it was bad for me. It's actually bad for me. I shouldn't have been there. So I just think kids should be left alone. And it's handing Christian Looney Tunes an issue. It's going, here you go. Here's your issue. If you want freedom, if you want women to be able to have abortions during a reasonable window, if you want people to be able to marry who they want, if you want society to kind of progress in a way that doesn't completely abandon morality and judgment, you cannot have children. And I don't know who is doing this. Who is doing this? Now, certain things are okay. Certain kids, my friend is doing it, her daughter, they're doing Dykes on Bikes for the kids, where all the kids are going to get on motorcycles with lesbians and ride out into the desert. That's fine, because lesbians don't have sex. It's not sexual at all. Lesbians are just creatures from an ancient past, chupacabras. So there's nothing sexual about that. So there's nothing wrong with the kids getting on the motor, because the kids are on the motorcycles and they go out to the desert with the dykes. Fine. Here's another thing, which I don't know if I love. Friend of mine, his 4-year-old, they're doing a Rent-themed birthday. The show Rent. Well, I'm all for Broadway, but the kids are going to each pick a character from Rent. Someone's going to be the heroin addict who does anal, Mimi. Someone's going to be the transgender person, Angel, who has AIDS. Someone's going to be Mark, who has AIDS. Someone's going to be Adam, who has AIDS. Someone's going to be the black guy. I forget his name. He sings Santa Fe, which I love. Let's open up a restaurant in Santa Fe. What a great song. Collins? I forget his name. Don't look it up. The point is, it's a 4-year-old.
Right.
And because the 4-year-old said to the parents, he came to the parents and said, can we do a Rent theme party where everyone pretends to have AIDS? So I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't think it's the worst idea. if all the kids can know that they don't have AIDS. Drag queens, for the most part, it's like adult entertainment, We should have adult entertainment in America. And drag queens, I think the fun of drag is that they are acerbic and witty, and they say things that are inappropriate, and usually it's late at night, and they're funny and sexual in certain instances. Not always. Drag inherently isn't sexual. It's kind of buffoonish and clownish, but there are moments of it that are certainly inappropriate for kids. I also think drag queens, they're inappropriate. They're fun. They do lowbrow, racial, ethnic humor. I've always seen that. I think it's great. I don't think that PC drag queens, what a hellish nightmare. Drag queens reading books at library. Who wants to read books to kids at Can you imagine if we had to do that? Like every Sunday, we had to go read books to these illiterate junkies in this country? Let's watch this. This Gavin Newsom's going to be the president now.
Yeah, and he's airing this in Florida.
Gavin Newsom's airing it in the swing state. Him and DeSantis they're going hog wild. By the way, Florida parties for the kids, they're doing, and here, again, you might not like it. My friend lives in Florida. I'm not even kidding. He said, we're doing a party, and the theme of the party is Parkland, but the kids win this time. So the theme of the party is Parkland, but the kids win. So the kids get guns that are not loaded, we hope. And the job of the kids, they run around, and a kid comes in, and they point at him. They go, look at that antisocial communist. And then they get him. Before he gets them, Gavin Newsom, the president.
It's Independence Day.
Oh.
Let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom, it's under attack in your state.
It is.
Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors. I urge all of you living in Florida,
by the way,
to join the fight.
I'm pro-choice guy, but I just love the idea of criminalizing women. And I'm wondering, can I criminalize women while still being pro-choice? Like, is there a way to criminalize women while letting them have abortions? Because that fascinates me. That hits me right in the political sweet spot, if there ever was one. If there ever was a way to really speak to Tim Dillon, it's remaining kind of libertarian-minded and allowing people to have freedoms, but also finding a way to criminalize women. Just that coupling of words makes me get out the checkbook and donate. I don't know how that's being done. But just women starting as criminals and then having to prove they're not, I like that idea. Much like how people are born with original sin, women being criminals first, and then. So what's he say? Let's finish this up here. Join the fight with Gavin Newsom.
Or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom.
Doesn't
Freedom
look like
of
that.
speech,
By the way,
freedom
go back to that.
Freedom.
Go back to that. Nothing looks like what right there. No state, let me tell you right now, I just returned from the greatest state that God ever gave. Man, New York, where we have the Hamptons, which is a beautiful community. It's breathtaking. So many different types of white people on pills. You know what I mean? Like so many different types of like this long white stare, like kind of like. You have this, yeah. Then you have the surfer, which is a little more like. But a couple of women there on the pills. Get off the bagels, ladies. Because, in the Hamptons, the women have to. And I have a friend there who's managing my home there. She's a fatty bombati. And the women are unkind to her because of that. A fat, rotund, pink, cherubic man in the Hamptons is treated as he should be, like a god who fell from the clouds because he might have a lot of money. But the young mommies do not like big ladies. They don't like it. And I was just there, and it's pretty, and it holds up. New York City holds up. When you go, I've seen it on a bunch of films. This is kind of what it looks like. When you go to California, there's some type of like, wait, what? Wait, huh? There's very few places that hold up. Some up north, Big Sur, that area, fine. Beverly Hills, of course, is Beverly Hills. But the vast majority of California it just does not present as you would think it does. It has done a great hoodwink. California is, it's a dating profile, that's a little misleading for sure. Not a straight up catfish, but like where you go, oh God. Like when you see the person at the table, you know this feeling. Mm-hmm. You're walking to the coffee table and you see the person from about, let's say, 10 meters away, and your first response is, I hope to God this isn't what it is. And you know down deep that it is. And you have to sit down with them anyway, while they eat their coffee. They chew it. I was talking to Ray Kump earlier. Peter Schiff is in trouble now. They're trying to get him for his bank. I don't know why he's running a bank. Why Peter Schiff's running a Puerto Rican bank. But, people do what they do. And we support Schiff. Never support the feds. Never support the feds. Peter Schiff owns a bank with Jake Paul. Who cares? So what? So what? It's nice to have a bank. Why don't you get a bank? They're mad at him because they said his capital requirements. He doesn't have any money in a bank. Stop this. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to even go into it. I don't know enough about it. We want to try to get him on the show. Let's get him on the show. He's on. He's in trouble. Right, they're trying to get him. So let's watch this, by the way. Okay. Because, by the way, can you freeze on the picture of Santa Monica?
Was that right before this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So freeze on here. Okay. I don't know what year this was taken. Look how far away you are. By the way, this is kind of funny and interesting. Look how far away you are. This is essentially an aerial shot of California. This is where California still can look somewhat desirable from the air. This is so far away from anything. Now I just want you to Google in another tab, Santa Monica homeless, because Santa Monica is one of the scariest places you'll ever go. I was there the other day, and the people just walk around screaming at the sun, like cursing God. I mean, yeah, any photo unimportant. So that's up close. What Santa Monica looks like.
That's the same area
That's the same area that you're looking at from the aerial shot. Yeah, it's the same one right there. There it is. That's what it looks like up close. Okay? Endless tent cities. Now go to the aerial again. Oh, yeah. Isn't that pretty? That looks pretty. So again, it's a trick of Hollywood. They're lying to you. They are making it seem like California is an idyllic paradise when in fact it is not. The only thing that is also the rest of the country is also a dump. So unless you can live in Jackson Hole, Palm Beach, East Hampton, there's 10 places in the country that aren't a complete dump. So that's a benefit to California. Let's watch the rest of this ad.
But we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech.
No, you
freedom
don't.
To
Listen,
choose. Freedom from.
Not only do you not believe in freedom, this state is not free. They take all of your money. You don't get to, the vaccine thing, they went nuts. Lockdowns, they absolutely don't believe in free. It's so, why not just honest political ads? Why not just honest political ads? No, they genuinely, where they cut this bullshit about well, if we're free and in your state, they don't like free. And it's what do you want? What do you want? Literally, it's a guy like fucking Newsom looking at you and going, what do you care about? And who do you want to see killed? Do you agree with us? You like what we like? You want to kill the people we want to kill? Or the other way around? Because that's all it is. What do you like? Which natural disasters do you like? And who do you disagree with on a level where if they were a victim of a natural disaster, you'd say, good. That's real political ads. It's none of this bullshit about this beautiful mixed race family. By the way, this is freedom from hate and the freedom to love. So you have a mixed race family here. The freedom to hate and the freedom from love. Okay? That family, which I don't know if it's real or not, okay? Each of them has to work 19 hours a day to afford their $19,000 mortgage in this state. So there's not a lot of freedom left after you've worked every hour that you're alive. And there's not a lot of freedom to raise your children unless you can afford, to really have the time to be with them. That's the other issue. They don't want to talk about how unaffordable California is. Keep going.
Hate and the freedom to love. Don't let them take your freedom.
Paid for by Newsom for California Governor 2022.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not, oh God, what is this here?
Oh God. I think this is that Gary Chambers guy.
I don't know what he's, I don't have anything for him. So let's just move on.
The Scars and Bars guy.
Great. Whatever that means. Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah.
He's a Democrat from Louisiana running for the Senate. Good for him. I don't know what anything means anymore. He does a campaign ad where he burns a Confederate flag. Okay, cool. Hey, man, my best to you. But everywhere's a dump, right? Florida's a dump outside of a few places. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Your brother said homeless are getting bad in Dallas.
Yeah, he said it's not.
They're going to get bad everywhere. I know that it's fun to hit California over the head because they have crazy policies and they've brought this on themselves, encouraged it. Some of it's the climate. But homelessness is going to get bad everywhere for the simple fact that drugs are becoming the only thing that work to alleviate the hellscape we've created. Yeah, I mean, those are the only things that work, right? So drugs tend to work very well. The problem is they have a lot of unintended consequences that knock people down a few pegs in life. And unfortunately, it's hard to climb out of that hole.